Hi, welcome to Hopscotch. In this video, you'll code a simple program along with me and see the basics of the Hopscotch editor. And you'll get 1,000 ideas for the possibilities of all the things you can create in Hopscotch. If you're watching this video in the Hopscotch app, it means you're in a working project with a video player overlaid on top. This blue dot here is where my finger is tapping my screen. You can see what I'm doing by watching the blue dot. I want you to code along with me, and if you ever get lost, just rewind the video player. First, we're going to practice pausing the video together right now. When I say freeze, I want you to tap on this video player to display the controls, and then tap again on the pause button in the middle so that the video player freezes. Okay, ready? Now freeze. Nice. Did you get this video to pause? Great. And if you didn't, please take the time right this moment to figure it out. You'll need to know how to follow the rest of the tutorial. Now, tap on your video player again. You should see the controls in white on the overlay. See those little circles with the numbers 15 to the right and left of the pause button? Those let you rewind and fast forward 15 seconds at a time. And if your video controls don't have those circles, it means that you don't have the latest version of the app, and you should download the update from the App Store now. If the video is going too fast or too slow in general, you can listen to it at half speed or at double speed. Just tap the 1x at the bottom left, and that will cycle through different speeds. Try tapping it right now. First, you'll hear me speaking at 1.5 speed. Sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? And then tap again and again, and you'll go up through 2x and down to half speed. Cool, right? Okay, get it back to 1x speed again. You can see how this will be really useful to you if the pace of the video seems too fast or too slow. Now, you can also move the video player around and resize it by pinching. Right now, I want you to drag the video player down a little bit and pinch it to make it smaller. Do you notice how the option to change the speed goes away when you make the video player very small? To get it back, just make it big again. Okay, now I want you to make the video player bigger again. This way, you'll be able to see what I'm doing better. But make sure the video isn't covering up your code. Now, are you ready to start coding? Since you're in a working Hopscotch project, I want you to follow what I'm doing and code along with me. First, I'll tap on my gray plus button here. Now, look down at the bottom of your screen and tap on your gray plus button too to add an object. By the way, if your screen looks different than mine, like no graph paper and no object picker, and it has a pencil button in the corner, just tap on the pencil to get back. So tap on your plus button, and your object menu with the heart and star and squiggle should pull up too, like mine here. These are all objects you can use to build projects in Hopscotch. Scroll over past the text and the shapes to the characters section, and tap to pick a character you'd like to work with. I'm going to pick the monkey. Okay, make sure you've picked your character too. See how it jumped up to the stage? The stage is what we call this screen that looks like graph paper. Every object you add to your game will appear here. Move your object around, and see the two numbers next to it? Those are its XY coordinates. And if you look at the bottom when you move it, the plus button changes into a trash can. If you want to delete your object, you can just drag it in there, and a little poof cloud appears to delete it. If you missed any of this, or if you miss anything in Hopscotch, just rewind the video to replay so you can follow along. Now, move your object to the middle of the stage. To program an object in Hopscotch, tap on Add Code. And see this new blue box that opens? This is your code editor. In Hopscotch, you code by writing rules for your object. A rule tells your object when to do something and what it's supposed to do. So, all of these magenta blocks here tell your object the when for when it's supposed to do something. You use these to pick what is going to trigger the actions for your object. You must always have at least one magenta when block to program your object to do something. So let's keep it simple for now. When the game starts, you'll want your object to jump. So tap to pick the when game starts block. Great. Does your code editor look like mine? The block goes up into your code editor and it has a container shape, so you can put what the object is supposed to do inside. See this blinking turquoise cursor? It shows you where your next block, the one that tells the object what to do, is going to go. Now, did you notice how, once you picked out your when block, the menu at the bottom switched from the magenta when blocks to a different menu of rainbow blocks? These are all the what to do blocks. We call them methods. Each of these method blocks are different things your object can do when the game starts. So when the game starts, you want your monkey to jump. Lucky for you, we have already given you a pre-programmed jump method block. It's right here in the rainbow section. Tap to choose your jump method block. Okay, now let's read the rule we just wrote. It says, when game starts, jump. Make sure your rule says this too. When game starts, jump. And I just want to show you something. These rainbow blocks at the beginning here are containers for groupings of the other blocks. So you can see what's inside of them by tapping the gray arrow on the left side. I only wanted to show you in case you opened it by accident and got confused. You can snap the whole thing shut again by tapping on the gray arrow on the side. Okay, our rule reads, when the game starts, jump. Seems pretty straightforward. Make sure your rule looks like this too, and rewind the video if it doesn't. So now, the moment of truth. It's time to try out your program. Tap the play button on the top right, and it works! To replay it, just tap the circular arrow at the top. Congratulations! You just wrote your first program in Hopscotch, and the monkey is jumping for joy. It may have been simple, but that's how every app starts. Just small, simple parts building on top of each other. Now, let's go back and add a couple more methods to your program. Tap the pencil in the upper right to go back and edit your code. Okay, now, tap inside your when game starts container below the jump block. You should see the turquoise cursor here blinking below your jump method, and at the bottom see your rainbow methods menu. Okay, now let's add a few more things to this when game starts trigger. When the game starts, you'll want your object to jump and then also grow, flip, and move forward. So tap grow here. Great. And then scroll over to the red movement blocks to find the other two. By the way, if you ever want to know what any of these color blocks do, in the menu at the bottom, you can just long press any of them by holding your finger down on them for a second, and that will give you an explanation. Try it out yourself. Okay, now add flip. And then add move forward. And remember, if you don't see where I get a block, just pause and rewind the video so you can follow along. So here, you see that you have an option to choose how much to move forward. You want it to move forward 200. So delete the 100 that's already in here, and the delete key is in gray at the very bottom on the right. And then add 200. And press the little blue check button on the right, just above the menu. If you can't see yours, it might be covered up by your video player. Okay, so now we have a rule that says, when game starts, jump grow, flip, move forward 200. But actually, I want you to get your object to grow after it flips. So what would you do? Any ideas? You would need to move your grow block below your red flip block. To move it, grab the block by the 3 gray grippy lines on the right side. Your grippy lines might be covered up by the video player, so make sure you shrink the video player or move it out of the way if you need to, so you can reach the 3 grippy lines. If you can't drag the block, it's because you haven't gotten it by the grippy lines. What I usually do is press the line part and pull the block to the side first, and then drag it around. And as you move it, you'll see a thin black line that will indicate where the block is going to go. If you had wanted to delete this block, the trash can has appeared at the bottom and you can drop it in there. If you're having difficulty, just pause and rewind the video. Okay, so I wanted to move grow below flip. Great. Also, if you wanted to collapse this rule, you can just snap the whole thing shut by tapping the white arrow at the top of the magenta container block. And you can see when you open it again, everything is still inside. Try it out yourself. Okay, when game starts, jump, flip, grow, and move forward 200. Let's try it out. Great! My monkey jumps, flips to face the other side, grows, and moves the direction it's facing. Awesome! From here, you can go back and play with the order of those blocks to see what happens and add even more blocks. You could also code it to get bigger or smaller, or spin, or change colors with other triggers like when the screen is tapped or when it hears a loud noise. Or you can add more characters and have them interact with each other. So I hope you are already starting to get ideas for cool games and things you can create. People have made amazing things in Hopscotch, and every single one of them started exactly where you did, just dropping a couple of blocks and making the monkey jump. Have a great time inventing things, and happy hopscotching!